I'm a pilot for United Airlines. I've flown over the Grand Canyon probably several hundred times, and I've always looked down into it and wondered what it was like down in the canyon.
And I'm here because I've always wanted to do this trip.
I wanted always to go to the Grand Canyon because there's no place in the world like this, believe me.
I just got back to America after 19 months overseas with the Army. I don't think people really appreciate this country, America, until they're out of it. And I want to see one of the most beautiful things in the country, and I guess that's why I'm here.
Here we are at Paloonie, and this is one thing that we still have. I think it's be nice to have fresh water and not have beer cans like so many other places I've been to.
You experience the canyon a number of ways. There's some people who stop on the rim, take a quick look, and they say, well, now, Myrtle, we've seen that. What's next? The Painted Desert? Okay, we'll catch that this afternoon. If, however, you come down into it, it takes hold of you. And then you come back, and you come back again.
More than 2 million people a year are drawn to the mighty Grand Canyon. But only a handful will discover its meaning on the Colorado River. In this party of 24 are a sheet metal worker, a grandmother, a photographer, a doctor, and his children. They come from Austria and Atlanta, Toledo, and Tacoma. And in the next 10 days, they will be wet, tired, sunburned. But they will leave behind the air-conditioned world, the smell of choking cities, to touch the gentle wilderness and find perhaps the high adventure of their lives.
I have some red ones in the other car.
Passengers bring only their clothing and personal belongings. Waterproof packs, food, sleeping bags. Everything else is furnished by the outfitter, Grand Canyon Expeditions, headed by Ron Smith, river pilot, explorer, man of concern.
I'd like to talk to you about a few of the problems and some of the things we want to watch for in the Grand Canyon. The first place, we'll be going through one of the most beautiful national parks in the world, and we'd like to keep it that way. So I'd like to ask all of you to be very careful and not leave anything other than your footprints.
Let's go down the river!
Each boat party is led by an experienced river guide who must be a cook, commentator, master sergeant, and philosopher.
I want to get to know you people, too, because it makes quite a difference to me. I think that when we run a trip, the only way we can enjoy the canyon is if we share something together. We're going to do a lot of things down here. The first day or so, you'll just be getting used to being out of doors. I don't imagine many of you have been out much, at least all winter. You'll be pretty interested in the rapids. The rapids are a lot of fun.
In the 280 river miles from Lee's Ferry to Lake Mead, there are 59 major rapids. Between them are tranquil passages and the unfolding tapestry of the canyon walls. Each day there are hikes and side trips. The travelers pause to communicate somehow with the spirit of ancient people who once lived here.
We're standing here about 800 feet above the Colorado River.
Bill Belknap, writer, photographer, is among the first 100 men to run the Colorado River.
Being so high above the river, everybody wonders whether people lived here, or what they did here. Why did they build these things so high up here? The best idea seems to be that these were storehouses built by these primitive people, probably 1000 AD, to store grain and other things that they grew down in the valley over here on these flatlands toward the river, where they had means of irrigating from the Nankoweap Creek.
The men who work here are captives of a river god who casts a spell that cannot be broken. The river and canyon walls conspire to teach a lesson. As light creeps up the walls the end of each day, there is a return to basic human needs. Making a camp. Wood for fire. Nourishment. A place to sleep. Solitude. A sharing of the river sounds. And the celebration of the moonrise. The awakening to a new day. The coming together of different people. The sharing of the simple ceremony of breakfast.
I feel that most people that do go down the river definitely have a change. It actually changes their personality. Be more cooperative, more friendly. Hostilities seem to be washed away by the river.
The river is many things, but most of all, the river is to run, to rejoice in its sheer vitality.
tomorrow we'll hit Hanson, and then we'll go down to Phantom Ranch where we observe the moon.
I know that the only two that
The day's adventures are sharpened and shaped in stories that will be told and retold again.
were granite and lava falls, of course.
Is it okay if I sit on the front of the boat for them? It's the only place to sit.
front.
That is the
What I
only.
want to know is, which one did you like down there?
When you go out to rope your steer, don't tie hard your key, but take your dallies like a man to the California law, and you won't see your empire go drifting down that draw.
In 1963, plans were made to cut the mighty Colorado River with 2 hydroelectric dams. But for the efforts of the Sierra Club and conservationists the world over, this incredible place would have been lost forever. Somewhere, perhaps, the electric signs might have burned brighter, but surely the spirit of mankind would have been diminished.
This is Red Wall Cavern right here.
The Grand Canyon and the splendid wilderness must survive, protected to restore our energies and to enrich the lives of our children and their children's children. There is an interconnection between man and his environment.
I'm the cousin of the mountain, and my sister is the river. My brother is the moss that frosts the rock. And we're all connected by a scheme no one remembers. And my life is more than MC squared. Life is more than MC squared. Life is more. It's more. I'm linked to sand and fishes, and the full moon is my ruler. My heart beats to the rhythm of the earth. I am Genesis connected. I am man, and man is more than MC squared. Yes, man is more than MC squared. Man is more. Man is more.
Cheese. One more time. Cheese. Okay, good.
In a very real sense, this trip that we're taking down through here is, we are traveling through time. This section of the Grand Canyon that we're looking at is one of the most extraordinary geology books in the world. Spread out before us here, we've got around 2 billion years of Earth history, and we're right in the heart of it. These black rocks that you see right close to us here,
2 billion years is beyond our comprehension. But if we were to imagine one 24-hour day representing the history of the planet, starting at midnight, there are only cauldron gases and a gradual coming together of base elements. Throughout the long night, rocks and surging seas. Dawn. Atmosphere, ice, fire. In the afternoon and evening, the Earth is shrinking, erupting, shaping itself. In the last hour, 7 minutes and 10 seconds before midnight, the Colorado River is born and begins to cut the Grand Canyon. In the final minute of time, 10 seconds before midnight, ancient man appears on the face of the earth. And in our 24-hour compression of time, the last 1/100th of 1 second represents recorded history as we know it. The Grand Canyon is a revealing page of Earth history. It is a lesson in ecology, and it is glorious high adventure.
Lava Falls is the largest rapid on the Colorado River. It drops 28 feet in a mile. It's the biggest drop to a Boltman Lava Falls, one that they lay awake at nights worrying about.
Through the first 2 holes pretty good. I turned loose at the wrong time. He hit the last hole funny, and I went straight up and right in. And my first feeling as I was going in was, you stupid jerk. And then when I got in, I popped up under the boat, and I was afraid I was, not going to get out from under the boat, and that kind of worried me. And then when I popped up over the side and I grabbed on, I just popped up right where there was a rope to hold on to. And I saw everybody running over, Rex and Dick running over to grab me. And I felt guilty. The main thing is guilt, because they were so scared, and they're still scared, and I feel all right. It wasn't that bad. It was kind of nice.
It's hard to comprehend the actual size and the feel of these mountains and cliffs that are rising above you. And I find that it's very difficult to explain your feelings and to convey them to someone else. To me, it's an experience that can only be realized and recognized if you have had it yourself.
It seems like every time you take a bend in the river, why, there's more to see, the walls change. It just seems like it's never going to end. There's so many faces and colors and shapes. Man couldn't sculpture it like it is. When we thought about first coming down, it was like a fun thing. My relatives all laughed at us. They thought I especially was too old. But I think I proved to my kids I could make it.
A person could, by taking all the cathedrals in the world and lining them side by side for about 300 miles, then shoving their ceilings up in spires to about 5,000 feet, then if you walk through them alone, you might get just a little idea what it's like to be here. The architects of the cathedrals, they signed their name to their work, but the architect of the Grand Canyon, he didn't have to. You can see it everywhere.
The Grand Canyon belongs to the people. It is yours to experience and to cherish.
I am Genesis connected. I am man, and man is more than MC squared. Yes, man is more than MC squared.